What's up, everybody? This is Domingo Hero Necro of the Ice Barrier, and today's video I'm going to be doing, guys, I'm going to talk about the 20-year anniversary of the PlayStation Portable, the PSP. Now, I know I'm a few months late with this one, but I really want to talk about 20 years of the 20-year anniversary of the PlayStation Portable PSP, Sony's first handheld console. So let's get this started. So here we go. So the PSP came out in Japan. It came out in Japan first on December 12, 2004, and then a couple months later it came out in North America and certain other countries on March 24, 2005, and it came out in ITA, UKR, and IND coming out. That was on April 12, 2005, and then it also came out in Europe and Australia on September 1st, 2005. But yes, it did, like I said, it did came out in North America on March 24, 2005. So 20 years ago this year. So 20 years of the PSP coming out, man. 20 years of this handheld console. And I gotta tell you, the PSP is one of my favorite handheld consoles. I love the PSP. I love everything about it. Of course, this console did came out as part of one of my favorite video game generations of all time, Generation 7 or Gen 7. So it came out in Generation 7, and it was part of there, along with the PlayStation 3, you know, Xbox 360, the Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo DS, and stuff like that. And of course, this was Sony's first ever handheld console. And I gotta say, overall, the PSP has been a tremendous success. It sold pretty well, and the only thing that it did not do, it did not outsell the DS. But despite that, the PSP was a tremendous success, and overall, I thought Sony did very well with their first ever handheld console. And of course, the PSP was way ahead of its time, but overall, it was a tremendous success. I mean, there's a lot of things that's going on about this PSP, and like, I mean, this handheld console is amazing. Like, it's a wonderful handheld console. Look at the library of games it has and everything about it. And also, there were some features that the PSP had that the Nintendo DS does not have. And speaking about selling, this console, when I'm looking this up right now, it actually sold around 82.54 million units worldwide. Wow, more than 82 million units that this held. Wow, that's a tremendous success, and I thought Sony did very well with their first ever handheld console. It has been a tremendous success over, you know, for the past 10 years, for years, man. And of course, it did have a long lifespan from 2004 to 2014. So 10 years of the lifespan, because remember, it came out first in Japan, but that was in December of 2004, and we didn't get it in North America until like around March of 2005. So somewhere between 9 to 10 years of the lifespan, you know, depending on the regions and stuff. But yeah, it's really good, you know, and not only that, but also this little handheld console, like the fact that this handheld console, like, you can actually play it anywhere. You can play at home, you can play it anywhere you want to go. You can even go to your friend's house. You can go outside in the park. You can go to an airport. You can go to restaurants and play it. Like, it's amazing. Like the fact that this small handheld console and all that stuff, like, it's amazing. And of course, this little handheld console also has, like I mentioned earlier, there were some features that the PSP had that the Nintendo DS does not have that I actually like. And I'm going to show you that right now. Of course, before I do that, of course, there are some accessories that the PSP have. Like, for example, they got this little pouch right here. Right here, I got multiple memory sticks. So, oops, there's a hole on that little bag there, but I'll fix that later. But yeah, so these are called memory sticks right here. So the memory sticks you're gonna need in order to, like, you know, save up your files, like saving datas of your games. And not only that, but the features that I told you, they also, like, you could save like photos, music, and videos and stuff like that, even background themes and stuff. It's really, really cool. So this memory stick, this one has got a 32 megabytes, you know, and both of these are like 1 gigabytes. And there's the fourth memory card I mentioned is in here, and I'm going to show you that right now. This memory stick has a 4 gigabytes. Now back then, in the early to mid 2000s, when we used to play like so many video games, they never really have like a lot of gigabytes of the games, because back then it was like megabytes and and not a lot of gigabytes back then. Nowadays, we do require a lot of gigabytes and stuff like that, but back then it was different, and it's pretty cool. So here's the PSP right here, the PlayStation Portable. You got the pad right here with the left, right, up, down. Got this little small analog stick. Only one of this. You also got the start, home buttons, and the volumes and stuff. Home buttons right there as well. This button for like music, and this one's like for background. You got the triangle, circle, X, square right there. And then up here, you got the L and R buttons right up here, the little triggers. There's a little USB port slot as well. Now, there's a USB port slot that you can connect on your computer, on your PS2, and even on your PS3 as well, which is pretty cool features, especially like on the computer. Like if you have like any music, videos, or even photos on your computer, you could connect them, and then you could just transfer it into the PSP. But make sure you have a memory stick in order, because it does require like megabytes and gigabytes and stuff. And it's really cool feature. And speaking about PS2, you can even connect to the PS2 with one game. There is actually a game I know that you can connect the PSP to PS2, and that's WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, where you could, if you do that, you can unlock Jake the Snake Roberts into the PS2 version. So, because I know in the PS2 version, SVR06, you cannot unlock Jake the Snake Roberts unless you have both Smack versions of the PSP and PS2 version SVR06, and then you need to have a USB connection cord to connect the PSP to the PS2 in order to get Jake the Snake Roberts into the PS2 version. Now, the PSP version, you can easily unlock Jake the Snake Roberts. You just have to get money to pay for it on the shop. But yeah, like I know a lot of people didn't like that feature, because at that time it was kind of hard, because there are some people who had a PS2 but don't have a PSP, and then they have to force them to buy a PSP in order to get Jake the Snake Roberts, But if you were lucky enough to get both versions of SVR6 for PSP and PS2 and connect it to and also you need a USB cable to connect the PSP to the PS2, and you can actually get Jake the Snake Roberts easily. So yeah, and not only that, but also I'm going to show you this little PSP right here. And of course, see the background like it, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I actually downloaded that on the internet browser because like I said, look, you got the internet searcher. So this is the network here, internet browser, RSS channels, internet radio. You can listen to music on the internet radio, remote play, local free player, online instruction manuals. You got the PlayStation Network right here, which is closed down. It's been closed down since a couple years ago. It's closed down. It's not open anymore. Sucks. Save data Unity, that's for like free space. And also down here it tells you how many space you got left to save for your games and stuff. You got videos, you got music. Maybe let me put it a little closer so you guys can see. PlayStation Networks right here, even though it's closed down, but there it is. Network stuff right here, remote play. You can do internet radio. There's the internet browser, which I did check the internet browser nowadays. It actually still works. It didn't really close down that much. It still works fine. It's just that it doesn't. I mean, it works in some ways, but not everything though. So yeah, and then you got the game sharing, save data unities, and videos right there. There's some music. You can listen to music, photos. You can see some photos there. They got digital comments, which you can actually see some comments in digital, and some settings, system updates, and this is USB connection. Video settings and some other settings and stuff as well. So it's pretty cool. Very cool as well. I like that. I actually used the internet browser to download that Super Smash Bros. Brawl theme background that you just saw. As you can even download like other stuff as well. I heard some people actually emulate. You can even some people actually like emulate and piracy the PSP. I don't know how they did that, but they actually did that and stuff like that, which is pretty cool as well. Some people say, oh, it's probably the PSP failed because of emulation stuff. I think that's BS. I don't think that's not true. If anything, it did kind of help the PSP. I know it didn't help out Sony that well, but I know Sony didn't like the whole piracy and emulation, but it actually worked out, and it's actually pretty cool too. I don't know how they did that, but yeah, you can even emulate your PSP and stuff like that. But yeah, and not only that, but also, speaking about games, there's a library of games that this little handheld console has had. And if you want to know like how many games on the PSP had, it has a total. If I look it up right now, it has a total of 1,924 games. That's right, not 1,924 PSP games. That's a lot of games, and the library of games on this little handheld console is amazing. Like, you want to talk about the library games? I mean, I can't say all of 1,924, but there are some pretty good games that I can tell you. I may not tell you like a whole more than 1,000, but there are some pretty good games that they got. Games like the God of War Chains of Olympics, God of War Ghosts of Sephiroth, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I think Shin Megami Tensei, Persona 3 Portable, and even and also the main reason why I bought a PSP years ago is because of one thing that they have, and it is amazing and I love it, and that's the WWE SmackDown vs. Raw series. They got WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2011. They also got WWE All-Stars as well. TNA, they even got a TNA Impact video game as well on the PSP. And then you got other games like, like Street Fighter 3 Alpha, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. They even got Capcom, classic games, the Namco classic games as well. Sonic Rivals 1 and 2, pretty cool as well. Tekken, Dark Resurrection, Tekken 6, Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, the City of Final Fantasy 1, the first one, the City of Final Fantasy 012, that's the sequel to that one. That's a cool fighting game as well. They even got, Metal Gears, and like they got so many features, like that, Dexter, which is the game from, Jak and Dexter, which was a sequel. There's like so many amazing games that they got, like it is incredible. And speaking about GTA, GTA on Liberty Cities on the PSP has been no doubt one of the best-selling games on this little handheld console. If you want to know how many that they sold, the best-selling games, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories have sold over 8 million copies worldwide on the PSP. Okay, it may not be ugly. I mean, 8 million is not that bad, and it's pretty cool for selling that game on the little handheld console. And also, not only that, but also the PSP actually has like 3 different models. This model I got here, this is the PSP 1000, which is a little heavy. This is the one that feels a little heavy, and also got this little spring right here. The other models that they got the PSP 2000 and the PSP 3000. The 3000 PSP version, those version has the one without this little spring, and you could just like tap it easily open without without this. I think the only difference is like how the performance of the game and the pixelated and the models and stuff, so it depends. But I really love this handheld console. They also got like different colors of the PSP. I know they got like the red one, they got like the Star Wars 1 bundle, they got the one with the God of War bundle, they got the color green, they got the color blue, I think they got the color silver as well, they got like gray, like black and stuff. They got like so many different colors versions of the PSP, which is pretty cool. And also they got some accessories as well. I know they had like a PSP camera, this one here, a little PSP pouch. They even got a PSP case. They got like so many different versions of the case. There was one case that has the one that holds 2 PSP games and 2 memory sticks as well. And speaking about the games and accessories, we got this PSP game case that actually holds your UMD case. And of course, here are the games that I got here, and I'm going to show you one of them. This is called the UMD, the Universal Medium Disc, or UMD for short. So this is it's basically a little small Universal Medium Disc that Sony has used to make their games, which is pretty interesting, I think the only problem was the limitation of the UMD, you know, about what certain data is going to put in and stuff like that, in certain games and stuff. It depends. Like, I remember there was one game that it got like mixed reviews because of the UMD and, you know, how much data it could put in it. I think that was what's that game? Peter Jackson's King Kong, the movie, the official game, because I know the PS version got like mixed reviews on that one because of the limitation of the UMD, and they cannot put the full game in the UMD. I think they put like 30% of that game, so that was kind of a disappointment. And speaking about, you know, games, you know, the SmackDown vs. Raw series, the fact that this game, the fact that the SVR series on the PSP actually has the same menu screen, same, you know, stuff as the you know, same memory screen, same motions, same gameplay, same stuff, just like the PS2 versions and other different versions on this little handheld. Is amazing. I think you know, there is two things I gotta say that are kind of the bad things about the UMD. The first thing was the UMD universal case, because breaking. Because I remember at comes a times when you play the same game every day over and over and over again, there comes a time where this little UMD could break easily, and you have to buy like, and it's kind of hard times to like, it could break easily. I know Sony got criticized of the UMD, how like they can break easily at times when you keep playing the same game every day over and over and over again and stuff. But there is actually a UMD that you can actually buy for the game, so that way you don't have to worry about, you know, getting a break. Because the original Universal Media Disc case on this game, it breaks easily at times when you play the same game over and over again. They actually have a UMD case here for your game, so just in case, like if this breaks off in the future, you can actually use this little clear one. Now these are the clear UMD case where you could put the game in here, just in case if the original UMD little plastic case breaks off, you can actually use the clear ones. The clear ones, I actually like the clear ones better than the original UMD case, because that way you don't have to worry about breaking easily and stuff. And the best thing about this is actually easier to get, and they're very cheap online. I know they have like different colors. I know they have like the blue, the red, the green, but those are like rares. Those are the ones that are hard to get. The clear ones are actually easier to get. Not only that they're easy to get, but they're cheap to get as well. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, and that's the only negative about the UMD. But the second negative I have to say is the loading screen. Like it takes a little too long for the UMD to read, and then when it goes to the loading screen, it takes a little too long. So those are the only two negatives I have to say about it. But other than that, the PSP was fantastic. Like I mean, overall, the PSP was awesome. It was way ahead of its time. I mean, the first non-Nintendo handheld console to actually sell well. It's pretty amazing. Yes, the PSP did not outsell the DS, but despite that, it was tremendous success. It was successful. And there's no doubt that it's one of my favorite handheld console. I love the PSP. It has a very special place in my heart. And Sony, this is their first ever handheld console. I thought they did pretty well back then. You know, ever since it came out. You know, I know it came out in Japan in 2004, and then North America months later, 2005. Overall, it was a tremendous success. I remember when the PSP first came out, it was like $250, which was not bad for a handheld console at that time. But nowadays, it's actually cheaper. You can get it for like $100 or $150, or you know, somewhere between like $100 and $150, so they're actually easy to get. It depends about what model it is, though, and depends on the rarity and stuff like that, how rare or how not rare they are. So, you know, but overall, 20 years of the PlayStation Portable, man, talk about time went flying, guys. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. What do you guys think about the PSP? You have any memories about this console? You know, tell me what you think about it. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe, and post your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about the 20-year anniversary of the PlayStation Portable PSP, Sony's first ever handheld console. That's going to be it for this video. This is Domingo Hero Necro of the Ice Bear. All I can say is take care. Have a good day. Goodbye, everyone. And Domingo Hero Necro of the Ice Bear is signing out. Peace.